Sometimes an entire season, even a whole legacy, can come down to a single moment. It all balances on the edge of a knife. One decision, under all that pressure, and everything changes. For the Kansas City Chiefs, that moment arrived on a cold Sunday night.
Okay, so put yourself in this situation. Imagine it. There's 10 minutes left in a game you absolutely have to win. You're the coach, Andy Reid. The ball's on your own 31-yard line, 4th and 1. Do you play it safe and punt it away? Or do you risk it all to keep the drive and, really, your season alive? What's the call?
Now, this wasn't just any old play call. For Coach Reid, a guy with a 27-year career, this was a moment that would test the absolute limits of his aggressive style. And get this, it was the very first time in his entire career he'd ever gone for it in a spot exactly like this.
But you gotta understand, this gamble wasn't just some reckless whim. The Chiefs were, statistically, the most dominant team in the entire league on 4th down. They were converting an incredible 80.8% of the time. The data, the numbers, they all screamed, go for it.
And it wasn't just their own history. The modern analytics, the cold hard numbers, they backed up the decision completely. ESPN's own model gave the Chiefs a better than even shot of winning the whole game if they just went for it. Literally every sign pointed to aggression being the right call. And yet, it all went wrong. In the quiet after the game, with the weight of that loss just sinking in, Coach Reid didn't try to hide. He didn't make any excuses. All he said was, I messed that one up. So, what on earth happened?
All right, let's break down the play itself. It was just a single yard. 1 yard stood between the Chiefs and a whole new set of downs. Instead, it became the yard that would end up defining their entire season.
So the breakdown was like a chain reaction, really. Patrick Mahomes lines up in the shotgun, not under center. Right away, the Texans' defense gets instant pressure. Even Mahomes said it himself later. Their coverage was great, he was a little late on the throw, and the pass to Rashee Rice just hits the turf. A complete failure. And the impact of that one incomplete pass? It rippled out immediately. It went from just a single failed play into a historic, dynasty-ending moment right before our eyes.
The consequence was just swift and brutal. The Texans got the ball in perfect field position, drove right down the field, and scored what would become the game-winning touchdown. So the gamble didn't just fail to gain a yard, it directly handed the win to the other team.
9. What's this number all about? It isn't just a number. For the Kansas City Chiefs, 9 was everything. It was a symbol of their unmatched, relentless dominance over everyone else.
And just like that, it was gone. That single loss officially ended their 9-year reign over the AFC West. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, this wasn't just some NFL streak, it was the longest active division title streak across the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball. An entire era had just ended.
But the end of the streak was just the beginning of the bad news. The box score from that night, well, it reads like a eulogy for an offense that was once completely unstoppable.
160. That's how many total passing yards Patrick Mahomes had for the entire game. For one of the most electric quarterbacks to ever play the game, that was the lowest total of his entire 9-year career.
And somehow, it gets worse. He completed just 42.4% of his passes, another career low. This wasn't just a bad game. This was, statistically, one of the worst performances of his entire professional life.
So, what did all this mean for their future? Well, before the game, their path to the playoffs was pretty clear. After this loss, their chances just plummeted to a measly 12%. The season was, for all intents and purposes, on life support.
But, numbers only tell you part of the story. The real cost of this loss wasn't measured in yards or percentages. It was measured in the raw, human emotion you could feel inside that locker room.
That's the sound of pure frustration from the team's leader, Patrick Mahomes. After one crucial drop, he was seen just burying his head in the turf. The finality of it all was just crashing down on him. These moments, they don't come back.
And this image, it's haunting. In what everyone described as a silent locker room, the veteran leader, Travis Kelce, one of the last guys to even take off his uniform, just sat there, hands on his head, bowed, and he said nothing to anyone. His silence spoke volumes about the team's absolute despair.
And this was the final sobering admission from Mahomes. The hope, the swagger, the belief that defined this dynasty for almost a decade, it was gone, replaced by this grim acceptance of reality. The chances were getting lower and lower.
So it leaves us with this pretty fascinating question, doesn't it? The line between being a genius and a failure can be as thin as a single yard. For years, the Chiefs lived right on that edge, and their boldness is what made them great. But this time, it sent them right over. It really makes you wonder, what is the true cost of a gamble?